What is up? We have today one of my favorite videos. I've been waiting to make this. We are starting off with the AFC doing our division predictions for the 2025 NFL season. I am juiced. We can just get straight into it, but obviously this is only 1 week of preseason in. You know what I mean? It's obviously possible for this to change. Injuries can happen, so I'm not pretending like any of this is set in stone, but we will get started with the AFC North. We have finishing last in the division in the AFC North. We have the Cleveland Browns. Felt like we all could have saw that coming. That was probably fairly obvious to everybody. I do not believe in the Browns at all. The offensive line sucks. The running backs suck. The wide receivers suck. The quarterbacks are going to suck. The tight end the tight end David Njoku is really good. The defense will probably be okay. If Shedeur Sanders never gets into this, never starts this year, probably a good chance this is the worst offensive team in the league. Could be one of the worst offensive teams in the history of NFL football. I would not be shocked in the slightest if the Browns averaged 4 points a game this year. That team is going to suck. And the only way that I think that they have a chance of winning 5 games is if Shedeur Sanders is the starting quarterback. Sorry, Browns fans. Honest to God, at this point, I'm rooting for you. Actually, you signed Deshaun Watson. No, I'm not. David Njoku should probably leave. Myles Garrett should have left. This team fucking sucks. Yeah, man. I mean, Myles Garrett and Mason Graham is going to be really awesome on the D-line, and the defense will look good. But the offense is going to be so bad, it's going to make the defense look worse. We're not going to go too hard in on the Browns. The Browns fans don't deserve this. The Browns do. Browns fans, I'm sorry. At number 3 in the AFC North, we have the Steelers. I'm a big Aaron Rodgers guy personally. Probably my favorite NFL player ever who's not a Raider. Shout out Charles Woodson. But I think that the defense of the Steelers is probably going to have a very slight regression. Everybody's just getting older. You know, I really like their D tackle that they drafted actually. So maybe the defense is the same. I expect a slight regression, but the addition of, I think his name's Derek. No, what is his name? Is it Derek Harmon? No, who the hell did they draft? Either way, I know that he's a great D tackle. But I actually expect Aaron Rodgers to be decent. I don't think the offensive line is going to be that good. And as a result of that, I also don't think that the run game is going to be that good. And if you're going to have an old quarterback, you probably need a good offensive line and a good run game. So I don't really trust either of those for the Steelers, which sucks because I actually think Aaron Rodgers still has a little bit left in the tank. I don't think that he's completely washed. I don't think that he's completely garbage. I think that he has a chance to still be decent this year. But with at least middling to maybe below middling offensive line and then, probably not a great run game. I don't have huge hopes for the Steelers. I think that him and DK will probably be a decent match. I think that actually his most used target is probably going to be Pat Freiermuth in the short game. Tight end is normally an old quarterback and a young quarterback's best friend. A rookie QB, a young guy loves having that safety valve, and so does an old guy who can't get out of the pocket. So we got the Steelers finishing 3rd. I think this could be the first year that Mike Tomlin has a losing record. Not impossible. Finishing 2nd in the AFC North, we have the Bengals. The Bengals. Honestly, I expect pretty much the exact same thing from the Bengals as last year. Maybe the defense improves, and if the defense is even the 20th best defense in the NFL, I'd have this team make the playoffs. I just don't know if Trey Hendrickson is going to play football for this team. I would say, once again, expect an insanely prolific offense. I think Chase Brown's only getting better. T. Higgins is probably only getting better. Jamar Chase is trying to make his case to be the best wide receiver in the NFL this year. And I think Joe Burrow is trying to make a case to be the best quarterback in the NFL this year. And unfortunately, I don't know if they're going to make the playoffs. I don't think that I'm going to go through and pick which teams I think will make the playoffs, and we'll do playoff seeding predictions. But as of right now, we're just going to say they finished 2nd in the division, obviously, because we have the Ravens. The Ravens are in the 1. Lamar is the quarterback for the team, so the Ravens are 1. If you have Lamar Jackson, you're going to win 75% of your regular season games. You're going to look awesome, and you're probably going to be a top 3 seed in the conference. I mean, I would expect a good to very, very good year from Derrick Henry. I don't know if we're going to get another great year from Derrick Henry, but I would expect a very good year from Derrick Henry. I would say I think that one of the difference makers this year, honest to God, is going to be just consistency from the defense. Last year, and I feel like Ravens fans will probably agree with me on this, at the beginning of the year, I didn't really think the defense was very good. And I remember through like the first 6 weeks or whatever, they didn't look good at all. Eventually, the Ravens did what the Ravens do, and they ironed out that defense. They got everything under control. You know, I see a more consistent Ravens defense this year. Maybe a slightly, maybe very slightly worse offense just because of Derrick Henry being like 500 years old. But also that guy's an absolute physical specimen, so who knows? I mean, I could see a small confidence hit. I think the Mark Andrews thing could go either way. Either Mark Andrews could look awesome and be like he was motivated by how terrible he was in that game, or Mark Andrews' confidence is in the shitter. Uh, that said, though, they still have Isaiah Likely. I wish that they would have a good receiver core for once for Lamar. Don't get me wrong, it's acceptable, it's serviceable. It's not like Lamar ever like he's never had great wide receiver cores, but his teams have never been bad offensively. Like their offensive line's always good. They have always had a good tight end, and they've always had they haven't always had good running backs, but they've had serviceable run games, mostly because of Lamar. Shout out to Lamar. I think they cruise to the first in this division. I think they win this division by 3 games, maybe 4 games. If the Bengals win 10 games, I could see the Ravens winning 13. So who knows? We will start with we will go next to the AFC South. We're going to go north, south, east, west because we want to finish off with my division, the Raiders. Stick around for that. Spoiler alert. I'm just kidding. We're going to start off with the Titans in 4th place. I thought I was going to have them in 3rd place. But in all honesty, this team sucks outside of the quarterback. There's a reason they had the first overall pick this year. And I think that going from maybe the worst quarterback situation in football with Will Levis up there with my team, maybe the quarterback situation in football and Will Levis, and upgrade to a quarterback who I expect to be good in Cam Ward. Weirdly, one of the least talked about players in football I've never seen a number 1 pick get covered this much, or this with this so much of little regularity with how much we talk about this guy. There's a reason he was the number 1 pick. I thought this guy was going to be a Raider. I actually watched Cam Ward. I went to the Miami Cal game in Cal. I went to the first time they had college game day in Berkeley. That was awesome. It was a great game. We should have won. There was a billion signs saying, Cam Ward, you're a Raider. I wish he would have been a Raider. I really like Cam Ward. I'm not going to predict that they're anything better than the 4th team, though. I could have put them over the Colts, but with the Colts, I think Daniel Jones or Anthony Richardson could, scrape their way to being the 24th best quarterback in football, which is by no means impressive. They can get carried by Jonathan Taylor. Weirdly, both of those guys would have a good read option game with Jonathan Taylor. Their receiving core isn't the worst. It isn't the best. It's okay. It's okay. They have some good pieces on the offensive line. I don't know that the offensive line will actually be great. And I don't really trust the defense. Honestly, I don't know half the guys on that defense. So, do I really trust the Colts to come through and crush it this year? No. I think you could flip the Colts and the Titans any day of the week, and I wouldn't be mad about it. Either way, I think it's an absolute guarantee that those are the 2 worst teams in this division. Third, fourth, whatever happens. Maybe Daniel Jones starts and they win more games, or Anthony Richardson starts and Anthony Richardson isn't good and they suck, or Anthony Richardson starts and he is good and maybe they, make a push for more than 7 games. Sponsor me. Number 2 in the AFC South is a team that I'm actually a lot higher on than a lot of people this year. The Jacksonville Jaguars. I think a lot of people have just written off the Jags, have written off Trevor Lawrence, and I'm not doing the Nick Wright bit. I'm not calling him the prince that was promised. I'm not going to have some fucking guy playing in the trumpet in the back of this podcast. I can tell you that. But with a healthy Trevor Lawrence, this team made the playoffs, won a playoff game. Let's not forget about Baker Mayfield. made the playoffs, won a playoff game, got hurt. His team was kind of out on him. The league was kind of out on him. They let him go. We saw what happened, right? The Jags gave Trevor Lawrence a huge deal way too early. But let's not forget that this dude took him to a playoff win, right? I think that the draft of Travis Hunter, who you used this year and next year's first round picks on, was a great pick. I'm high on Travis Hunter. I think he's one of the most freak athletes in the history of NFL football. I can't confirm that he's going to be able to play both sides elite, but if he's good on one side and good on the other side, that is a huge pickup for them. They need they needed a wide receiver too, and God did that team need a corner. So if he can be their corner one and come in and just supplement what Brian Thomas is already doing, I also think that they've improved at the offensive line. Travis Hunter is going to make both the wide receiver and the DB room better, and I think ETN is going to have a bit of a bounce back season. Last year, I think the team just wasn't good. Trevor was kind of banged up. He didn't look that good. I could see a comeback season from ETN and also a bit of supplementation from Tank Bigsby there. I think Tank Bigsby could be somewhat of, if he has a breakout year, this team, I think that the Jags could win the division. I don't think that they will. That's why I predicted them here to be second. But I think with a healthy Trevor Lawrence, I see the Jags winning 9 to 10 games, and I think they could be a playoff team, believe it or not. I think that the Jags have it in them. I think that the defense and offense will both look better. Healthy Trevor, we could expect a good season. Not a great season, but I think Trevor slowly, he was on the upward trajectory, got knocked, and he's kind of coming back. I think that I'm not completely out on Trevor. Maybe this is a terrible take. Age is like shit. He plays bad. Who knows? But either way, I think they're going to be. I think if Trevor Lawrence was the 14th best quarterback in football this year, which would be actually pretty fucking good for the Jags. If Trevor Lawrence was the 18th best quarterback in football, I think they still finish second in the division. Brian Thomas is awesome. Travis Etienne is awesome. I love Travis Hunter. Of course, Travis Etienne was an awesome last season. Brandon Scherf is great. Their offensive line, should hopefully be better. And to finish first in the AFC South, big, huge shocker. We got the Houston Texans. I'm sure you guys are all shocked. Shout out to the Texans uniforms. I love the Texans uniforms. Sucks. My sister's boyfriend is a Texans fan, and he just is always talking shit about my Raiders. So, I could never buy a Texans jersey because what kind of shit am I going to listen to then, But the Texans have awesome uniforms. CJ Stroud is great. They have some of the best jersey combos in the league. Those red helmets are fire. I think that the Texans this year, believe it or not, the stronger of the two units, in my opinion, is going to be the defense. I love DeMeco Ryans. I'm huge on DeMeco Ryans. I think he's an elite coach in the league. I think he's going to prove himself throughout his career to be a top 6 to 7 coach in the NFL. And I think it's not outlandish to put him there now. I really don't like that they traded away some of their offensive line pieces. I don't like that they lost Stephon Diggs, and their wide receiver core seems to be injury prone. So I'm not exactly super bullish on the Texans to be a great team, but I am pretty confident they'll win the division on the back of that defense. And I think even with wide receiver injuries, I think that Joe Mixon, again, is going to look great. I've always liked Joe Mixon. I've always liked him in fantasy too. Maybe not this year. He might get overdrafted. But I like the Texans quite a bit, especially on the defensive end of the football. You have a guy who's vying to be one of the best corners in football. I think he's 2 in Derek Stingley. Yes, I have Derek Stingley above Sauce Gardner as of right now. The only corner in the NFL I think is better than him is Pat Surtain, and I think this year you might be able to make a case for Gonzo down in Boston over there. And yeah, man, I think the Texans could have a top 5 defense, and if they have like the 11th best offense, that's going to be an easy playoff team. I think they probably win this division by 2 to 3 games. But like I said, I could see the Jags making a run based on wide receiver injuries and terrible offensive line. The Texans really need to get this fucking offensive line together. I don't know why they didn't sink a lot of draft capital or something into this, or make a trade or find. I know there's not a whole lot of offensive linemen available. Not a whole lot of guys my size who have great feet and played football their whole lives. So you never know. But I think the Texans win the division. We can move on to the AFC East. This one is just straight chalk. Just no shockers here. At least not for me. I think that the Dolphins finished last in the division. I think the Dolphins suck. I've talked about this multiple times on multiple podcasts. I've posted it on TikTok, and everybody seems to agree with me. I haven't heard a soul who's high on the Dolphins this year. I think I'd be terrified of a Tua injury. I would be terrified of the chemistry being shit. I would be terrified of Tyreek leaving. I would be scared of Mike McDaniel being on the hot seat. I don't know the direction of this team. I don't know what they're going to do. I don't think it's impossible for them to be a good team, but I think there's so many things that could go wrong. I'm betting on something to go wrong. The Dolphins, the Tua Tyreek thing is fucking weird. I mean, they got Achane. He's cool. I don't really trust their offensive line that much. They're a soft defense. They're not good in cold weather games. They're not good at the end of the year. I don't trust the Dolphins. Dolphins might win 4 games this year. I wouldn't be shocked. I actually genuinely do think Tua's a good quarterback. I just think he's such an injury risk. I cannot trust that guy. And on top of that, I think Mike McDaniel's lost the locker room. I think Mike McDaniel's probably gone pretty soon in short order, which is disappointing, I'm sure, to hear if you're a Dolphins fan, because I think that he's going to go somewhere and be an awesome OC. I think that really best case scenario would have been if that dude got fired last year and the Lions could have brought him on. But we'll see. I don't trust the Dolphins. I don't want to do too much on them. I think there's a good chance of Tua not playing a lot of games. And Mike McDaniel's on the hot seat. I think he lost the locker room. And Tyreek's kind of just being pissy, and I can't say that I'm huge on the way that he's treating the team. Finishing third in the division, I have your New York Jets. You, Jets fan, who's not watching this, I have your Jets. I think the Jets are actually going to surprise a lot of people and be better than a lot of people think. I don't expect them to be a playoff team. I don't expect them to finish second in the division or first in the division. That's why I have them in third. I think Aaron Glenn will have that defense looking like a top 15 to top 10 defense. They have the talent. Quinnen Williams is awesome. Sauce Gardner is awesome. Just in general, I like their defense. I really like Aaron Glenn. I think he was just as good of a coaching candidate as Ben Johnson. And I think that the thing with Justin Fields is, I think that Justin Fields does bring a somewhat higher floor to the offense. Like, I don't think that Justin Fields will ever be a Super Bowl winning quarterback, of course. But when you have Justin Fields and Breece Hall, you're bringing an aspect to the game where you have that ability. Your offense becomes a bit more dynamic. I'm not saying it's going to be great, but it's going to be a bit more dynamic. It's going to be a bit more exciting. There's going to be more. It's going to be big arm throws and read options and QBs doing crazy shit. I'm not huge on them. I'm actually kind of low on Garrett Wilson. I don't think that he's elite, but he's a young guy. He's playing with his college teammate now. And I've always been a little bit higher on Justin Fields than most people. I'm not high on him as like oh my God, this guy's going to be awesome. I would have actually liked if the Raiders would have got him, but I'm sure if he would have came to the Raiders, he would have sucked. I think the Jets are going to be decent. I don't think they're going to be great, but I think they're going to give a lot of teams a tough game. Like, the Jets are a team that you just don't. I think this year the Jets are going to be that one team that you just don't really want to play. They're not that good, but they're just like, fuck, man. This team has a really good defense. They're well coached. They're probably going to be situationally pretty good. And you have the ability for a random Justin Fields awesome game. You know what I mean? Like, Justin Fields definitely is a roller coaster quarterback, but roller coasters go up. You know what I mean? Justin Fields is, to me, 1,000% a roller coaster guy. But sometimes that roller coaster hits when you play the Bills. You know what I mean? Sometimes you play the Bills in whenever they play the Bills, and randomly Justin Fields has an awesome game, and the Jets are still going to lose that game. But Bills fans might get a little scared, you know? That's not a prediction at all, but I'm saying just in his example, you know, say the Jets randomly play like the Chiefs or something this year. Like, the Chiefs are going to come into that game not really thinking too much, and that Jets defense is going to look awesome. So it's another one of those teams you just don't really want to play because their defense is really good and they're going to be really well coached, and they have a dynamic guy under center, really probably in the shotgun. But second in the division, we have your New England Patriots. Honestly, fuck the Patriots. I hate the Patriots. Fuck the Patriots. But I have to give respect where respect is due. I like Drake May. I'm not huge on Stephon Diggs. I really like Christian Gonzalez, and I really like Drake May. And I really like that they got Travion Henderson. I think that dude's going to have some big runs this year. I don't think he's going to be the best running back in the league. I don't think he's going to be awesome. I don't think he's going to be insane. But Travion Henderson is a home run hitter. And I think they could win 9 games. I think they might make the playoffs. I'm not going to bet on it, but they might make the playoffs. I can't say I'm sinking my 401k into the Patriots making the playoffs, but I like Drake May. I liked him out of college. I think that he has a lot of traits that remind me of a guy like a Justin Herbert, who I just said is going to finish last in his division. So maybe you don't want to have a lot of traits that remind you of Justin Herbert. Also, looking back on it, kind of crazy that I picked Justin Herbert, a guy who I think is the second best quarterback to finish last in that division. But you got to take some fucking swings here. You know what I mean? What am I doing just picking whoever's the fucking four favorites, putting them in order? I think the Pats will be good. I don't think they're going to be great. I like their wide receiver core a lot more than I did 2 years ago. Their tight end is still good. Hunter Henry's a solid dude. I think that they've improved at offensive line. I honest to God, I can't remember any of their names. I'm terrible with names, but I think they made some moves in the offensive line this year. I expect an improvement in the defense just because of Christian Gonzalez. I think he's just on a trajectory to be the second best corner in the league forever, unfortunately, because of Patrick Surtain, or the third best because of Derek Stingley. But I think Gonzo will be up there in that top 3, top 4 conversation for his career. Sponsor me. That's really all I'm going to do on the Patriots. I'm sure you guys are all losing your mind, shocked. The Bills are winning this division. I bet my house on it. I don't own a house, but I bet something on it. I bet my 401k on it. Unless Josh Allen tears his ACL, the Bills will win the division. They do this shit every year. We're not really going to go too far into it. They just gave James Cook a nice contract. I watched Nick Wright talking about how agents keep on doing this shit where they like report the deal being bigger than it is to make themselves look good, which is kind of funny because it's like, oh, he got $30 million guaranteed, but really it's only $15 million guaranteed, but really he already had 5 guaranteed, so now he has 10 guaranteed, and that's really the exact same thing Nick Wright said on his podcast. I just wanted to reiterate it because I thought it was funny. I'm not stealing that, but yeah, I mean, it's the fucking Bills. I love that I said I wasn't going to do chalk, and I just realized that I think I picked the favorite in every single division. No spoilers. AFC West. Oh, shit. I forgot that I didn't cover the AFC West yet when I just talked about Justin Herbert. That is unfortunate. I have the Chargers finishing last in the AFC West. This is going to be a surprise to a lot of people. A lot of people are going to lose their shit. A lot of people are going to complain. Whatever. I think that the Rashawn Slater injury is actually a massive deal for the Chargers. The offensive line, here's my thing. The Chargers' strength last year was the run game and the offensive line. Not the interior offensive line. The interior offensive line sucked. And I think that the drafting of Omari and Hampton was awesome. But I think that this Chargers team is going to be the best team that has ever finished last in a division. I know that this is a hot take. I know that people are going to be on my ass. But fuck it. You know what I mean? Homer. I think that the Rashawn Slater injury, they're going to have to move Joe Alt to left tackle, which was his natural position, I'm pretty sure anyway. But Joe Alt at left tackle. No, I think he's natural. I can't remember, but I know he's been playing right tackle. They got to move Joe Alt to left tackle, and then the whole rest of their offensive line sucks. Him and Rashawn Slater were the bright spots. You can make an offensive line look good by having 2 really good tackles and a good running back and a coach who likes to run the ball and has good schemes. Now you have 1 good tackle and 4 offensive linemen who suck, so the pass game is going to be a lot worse. The interior offensive line is going to get worse because I think one of those guys is going to get moved to tackle. I can't remember his fucking name, but I think you guys know who I'm talking about. I expect that this offensive line is going to be terrible outside of Joe Alt. And yeah, I mean, Joe Alt's the only good option on the offensive line. Omari and Hampton is great. I believe in him. I think he's going to look good. Justin Herbert's going to take a lot of hits. I wouldn't be shocked if he misses games. This dude's going to get lit the fuck up this year. Finishing 3rd in the division, my Las Vegas Raiders. I expect a gigantic improvement from my Raiders. This is one of the first times in years that I've been high on my team and that I believe that we could actually make some noise. I don't think it's impossible that the Raiders make the playoffs. I'm not betting my 401k on it, but I wouldn't be shocked. I think we could win 9 to 10 games this year. Really think about it. We went from maybe the worst quarterback situation in football between Gardner Minshew, who looked like absolute dog shit the second he left the Colts, and Aiden O'Connell, who was terrible. I really was pulling for that guy. He was terrible last year. We went from maybe the worst quarterback situation and maybe the worst head coaching job in the NFL to a surefire Hall of Fame head coach who's won at every level, who I believe in. He is I fucking love Pete Carroll. He might not be a scheme guy like I talked about yesterday, but that dude sets a culture. He believes in the team. We're gonna run the fuck out of the ball, and we have Geno now, who I think can be the 14th best quarterback in football. I don't think it's a crazy thing to say Geno Smith could be the 16th best quarterback in the league. And if you go from the 31st best quarterback in the league to behind maybe only Will Levis, which is fucking crazy, and then you move all the way to the 16th best quarterback in the league. Who knows? Maybe he has an awesome year and he's the 12th best quarterback in the league or the 14th or something. You know what I mean? You have a middle of the pack quarterback, an elite head coach, and we went from our running backs last year were Zamir White, Sincere McCormick, and Dylan Laube. I don't know how the fuck you say that guy's name. Dylan Labubu. You have him, Sincere McCormick, and Zamir White. And was it Amir Abdullah too? Our running back room sucked last year. One of the worst run games in the NFL. Probably, I didn't look up what they're rated. I could tell you myself, 28 and below. Run game sucked. Bottom 4 in the league. And immediately we draft one of the best running back prospects in years. I'm not going to get too far into it. I'm not going to call him Derrick Henry. I'm not going to call him Emmitt Smith. I'm not going to call him Barry Sanders. But the guy looked fucking awesome. Please look awesome. I'm assuming Ashton Genty will look good, right? I'm not assuming that Ashton Genty is going to be a shitter. I think that he's going to be good. I think he could rush for over 1,000 yards rookie year. Sorry, my sister called me and I had to send her ass to voicemail. Sorry, my bad, sister. But I like Jack Beck. I think that he's going to improve this wide receiver core. Brock Bowers is going to be the best tight end in the NFL this year. I think he was last year. And I expect a huge improvement. I think that we're going to get better everywhere. Everywhere. We signed... There's one thing Pete Carroll loves to do. He loves to sign fast-ass, tall-ass guys in the secondary. I like that we got Jeremy Chin. We got Darian Porter, who I think is like 6'3" and is fast as fuck. We just got a bunch of guys who look like they're going to fly around on the defensive side of the ball. And when you pair that with Max Crosby, who is awesome at football, that should be good. Hopefully we get off this Christian Wilkins money so that then we can do something with that. Not going to go too long on the Raiders as much as I'd love to. Finishing second in the division, I have the Denver Broncos. I think the Denver Broncos defense is going to look fucking sick. I think they have best defense in the league potential. Again, not betting my 401k on Hufanga and Dre Greenlaw being healthy, but I would not be shocked if they were the best defense in the league. Believe it or not, I debated putting the Raiders up here and making the excuse that I thought Hufanga and Greenlaw would get hurt, but I can't do it. I can only be so biased. I actually really love that they drafted RJ Harvey. I think that he's going to look great. Sean Payton has been absolutely gassing him up in training camp. And if Greenlaw and Hufanga stay healthy, I think the Broncos are going to win 10 games, playoff team, maybe 11 games. I think that's pretty much all I have on the Broncos. I hate the Broncos. I hate the Chargers. And here's what I hate the most is the Kansas City Chiefs. Fuck the Chiefs, but they're going to win the division again. I expect a massive improvement from their wide receiver core. I see a lot of people talking about, the Chiefs are going to lose. This is the year the Chiefs dynasty is over, according to Colin Cowherd. A bunch of people telling me that fucking the Broncos are going to win the division. The Chargers are going to win the division. No. They have the best quarterback in the league. They have the best head coach in the league. They probably have a top 3 defense in the league again. And they drafted Josh Simmons, who looked like a Hall of Famer in college and then got hurt, so he dropped. If Josh Simmons is good at football, this team is going to be fucking sick. If Rashee Rice's suspension, which I just saw his hearing got moved to the 30th of September, so he's going to be able to play in their first 4 games, which is huge for the Chiefs because those first 4 games are not easy. I believe they play the Ravens and the Eagles in those first 4 games. I would not be super bullish on Rashee Rice having a long season, but I wouldn't be shocked if I don't think that I think he's gonna miss at least 5 games. I mean, who knows? They could throw the book at him and just fuck his whole season over. But I think that Rashee Rice being back is going to be huge. Xavier Worthy's getting nothing but better. Travis Kelce is getting gassed up crazy in his offseason workouts. He's talking about how he's going to be faster. He's been talking about how his trainer and him have been working to make himself more pliable or whatever, all kinds of shit. I think the Chiefs, again, will win like 14 games and be awesome. I don't know why people are selling their Chiefs stock as much as I fucking hate that team. what can I do besides expect Patrick Mahomes to win the division? Last year they were unbelievably riddled with injuries, and I think they were 15-1 before the last game of the year where they said we're not going to play. Yeah, man. I mean, they lost their wide receiver one in Rashee Rice, and then they lost Hollywood Brown, they lost Rashee Rice. Isaiah Likely, did he break his leg last year? I think that's what some ankle thing. Maybe he broke his leg, some lower extremity injury for him. The team's was riddled with injuries. The offensive line was terrible. I just think you drafted Josh Simmons, and if he's good, that offensive line is going to look a lot better. It's not going to look the best, but you have the best center in the league, I believe, in Creed Humphrey. You're going to have a really, really good tackle in Josh Simmons, most likely. Chiefs are winning the division. Fuck. I really hope that doesn't happen, but who am I to give you anything but what I think is going to happen, right? Fuck the Chiefs. But let me know what you guys think. I'm going to clip these up, and I'm going to go pick up my brother from school. I probably would have actually done like 5-10 more minutes on this, but I just absolutely crushed this just in time to go pick him up from school. So, yeah, man, let me know what you guys think. Give me your division predictions. That's it.